Hey guys, welcome back to my channel via Glow. If you're new here, my name is Gloria and I'm a full-time reseller on multiple different apps and I resell clothes and shit. So in today's video, I actually want to go over 7 things that could help you become a successful reseller at the end of 2023 and then going into 2024. So the first thing I want to talk about is brand knowledge. I feel like as a reseller, you do come across a lot of different brands. Sometimes we pass them up because we are not familiar with them. Sometimes we didn't see those in a Bolo video or a Bolo haul and we just assume that they're not great brands. However, okay, you actually want to look into quite literally everything you come across. Now, some pieces, the fabric may feel low quality. However, the brand might be great. So I think that if you see a brand tag or even just a style or even a fabric, look into it every single time. There's so many times I've come across brands that I've never seen in a Bolo video or a Bolo haul, and I have looked into it and then it turns out to be a great brand. There's been times that I've watched like a What Sold or a Ship With Me and I see a brand label and then I go and find it that exact same day and then it sells. Okay, so I think you should just never feel comfortable with what you just know at that time. Like, you want to always grow. Now, I know that some resellers do tell you to go on the platforms and, you know, filter it out by items that are sold for the most price point to the lowest price point, and then you can also learn about new brands that way. I have yet to actually do that method, I'm going to be honest. I go to the bins a lot, okay, y'all? So I do come across a lot of different brands. Now, some brand tags are easy to kind of scope out to see like, okay, this is actually worth looking into. And then there's been times where I look at brand tags where it looks a little flimsy, a little cheap, but I actually look into the brand because of the fabric content or the style of the item or even the quality of the item. And then I see that, wow, this is a great brand. So I feel like a lot of the times you want to make sure you are not really selling yourself short by only picking up what you know. Like, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 years ago, I would only pick up maybe the same 15 brands because those were the only brands that I knew about. But I did watch a lot of YouTube content back then, but I never found those type of brands because I would go to thrift stores and I didn't go to the bins. And I feel like the bins kind of tapped me into a lot of brands that I would never come across at a regular thrift store. Granted, when I'm in a regular thrift store, I'm kind of searching for items that I know for a fact would sell. So I feel like that one kind of plays into me changing my business model as well as just learning and growing in this space. The next one is actually keywords. Now, when I was a baby reseller, I actually want to pop a few titles up that I used to put in my listings. Now, I didn't know anything about keywords, okay? I would just put exactly what the item was. It took me maybe a good 1.5 years before I started adding like boho, paisley print, bell sleeve, balloon sleeve. Like, it took a while. Button down, you know, v-neck collar. Now, I don't know every single aesthetic out there. However, the most important ones I have really immersed myself in, and I'll pop those on the screen for you guys. Keywords kind of tie in 100% to all the aesthetics that are out there, and it is so many aesthetics, okay? I use a select few. I don't really like to use, you know, the ones that are like 3rd, 4th tier. I'm not into all of that. Unless I really need to sell this item, then I might go and search for more different aesthetics. I pick up the same styles a lot of the time, so I use the same keywords. I believe right now, coastal grandma, granola girl, cottage core, Barbie core, whimsy goth, Stevie Nicks. I can't think of any more. Those are the only ones I know at the top of my head, but I use those keywords the absolute most. Now, of course, you want to use the aesthetics, but then you also want to make sure you are using those type of keywords that people could be searching for. So like I stated before, paisley print, people are looking for that. Animal print, leopard, just any type of style that will have somebody type it in. You want to think like a buyer when you are drafting up your you know, your title. And that's what I do. Like, I'll probably pop up a few here to show you guys what my titles look like. And of course, it varies per item. Sometimes I'm not even able to kind of, you know, clunk up my title because I can't come up with anything that would fit this. I know also gorpcore, I just thought about that. Like, so in menswear, I typically use that word a lot, but anything else, no. With men, I do pick up a lot of dress shirts, so I do use office, business, work, and things like that. So I think that the keywords will help your items be more searchable. So you want to always make sure you have that in your listing, because don't get me wrong, like a very basic title, I'm sure you will get, you know, a person that has typed that in, but I'm telling you, you will get a lot more hits if you plug in all of those keywords. Okay, the third thing I want to talk about is cost. Now, I personally am living in a volume selling type of business model. So I do shop at the bins, and that's where I get about, I want to say about 85% of my inventory is at the Goodwill outlet. If you are not familiar, it is quite literally all of the items that have been either raw donations or from the Goodwill stores that nobody picked up. They will send it to the Goodwill outlet, and the outlet will actually charge you like a, you know, base price for textile. So I never pick up hard goods, so I don't really know what hard goods are, but I pick up the clothing. And here in Dallas, Texas, especially at the one that I go to, they actually have a base price of, I believe it's $1.29 for 26 and over. The more you get, the less money you pay. So I'm always at the bins at least twice a week, and I'm always trying to make sure that I get over 26 pounds so I can get more bang for my buck. I know that it actually varies across the nation. I see McThrifty's channel, hers is over $2 for a pound. I know LA is almost close to $3, if I'm not mistaken, for a pound. And I'm just trying to stay in this realm where I just kind of like stay quiet, because I really do not want them to up the price. And there are 2 locations for the Goodwill outlet here in Dallas. Another one is in Fort Worth, I want to say, and that one is actually a base price of like $189 or $169. I'm not really sure. I'm sorry if I can't remember, but ours is under $2, so ours is pretty affordable. Let me know down below how much your bins cost wherever you are, because I'm quite interested. But yeah, my cost of goods are low. Now, I'm not saying that you need to make sure you are picking up, you know, dollar items all the time. I don't even do that in my business. I go to regular thrift stores, and sometimes I am paying $10 for an item. Sometimes I am paying $5 for an item. So there are resellers out there that will pick up items that cost maybe $50 to $70, because they will be able to flip it for, let's say, double or even triple their amount, and that is great for them. I personally am in a space in my life and in my business that I would prefer not to have so much money tied up in one item. Now, don't get me wrong, it is sometimes I will pick up items that cost $20, but I know I'm going to be getting a really decent amount for it, because I just don't like to tie up that much money in inventory. Like, it's just not my thing. So as far as cost, I just like to keep mine low. I've noticed just a huge difference in the amount of money that I was spending on inventory 2 years ago versus the amount that I'm spending now. So that is more money going into my pocket, essentially. And then I also want to talk about business essentials. So definitely all of the little things that you would need for your business to help run it smoothly. I mean, we're talking poly mailers, tissue, tape, I don't know, lint roller, sweater shavers, steamers. Those are the things that you also want to make sure you invest in, so you don't have to keep repurchasing. So I recently picked up a new steamer. So the one that I had prior, I had that one for like 2 years, but I recently switched it just because since I'm bringing in so much more inventory, I need to move a little bit quicker. So with this one, I'm able to steam so many more items than I was prior. So before, I would only be able to get through maybe like 2 or 3 items before I had to refill it. Now I fill it up and I can get through the whole rack and some before I have to go refill it. So that does help me cut down on my time, and we all know that your time is so important in any business. And then also just kind of like the overhead expenses. So like, I know a lot of people use different type of programs. I personally use Flip and 𝕊𝕊. I pay $25 a month for 𝕊𝕊, but on the back end, the amount of money that I make on Poshmark, which is kind of like, I want to say maybe about 70 roughly % of my sales, maybe 60 to 70% of my sales come from Poshmark. So paying $25 to have a virtual assistant is very helpful. It does literally everything, and I know y'all probably tired of me talking about it, but 𝕊𝕊 really does the best for my business because it takes away a lot of the tasks that I don't want to do myself. I can just pay $25 a month and it does literally everything for me except list. It will relist, but it won't list my item. I use Flip to cross list my items because it is free. Now I know that there are services out there that could provide a little bit more. I personally don't use those because I personally don't think it's worth it, but that's me. I'm cheap as hell. So I don't think those programs are worth it because they are doing the exact same thing that Flip is doing. However, you do get what you pay for. So Flip is free. So I'm getting the bare bones of being able to cross list, look at some analytics, and then call it a day. But those are the only ones that I will promote on my channel because those are the only ones that I use. Do have everything linked down below if you are interested. And I don't know, I just like to keep all of my costs low. But I feel like since I've shifted my business model in 2023, I have really saw so much growth. So I know for me, spending money is just like not my favorite thing. Let's just be for real. So just to wrap the cost up, y'all already know I love to keep my cost of goods low. I like to keep my business essentials low. So I do get all of my items on Amazon. Sometimes I do go to Walmart to get my packaging paper, and I just like to make sure that I am getting the most bang for my buck. I also make sure I look at the cost per unit. So the next one is actually your pricing strategy. I think that it is so important to do your research. I mean, please do your research. When you get an item, you get a brand, you get a style, you get the size, you get the color, you know pretty much all of the tags right there on that item. You need to plug that into eBay. That is pretty much the place that I like to go first because you can get a very black and white on what the sell-through rate is for that exact item. So I like to go on there first, and then I'll see whatever the price is, and then I'll see like, okay, Lululemon pants. I can go on there and I see that the price range is between $35 to $50. Great, we love that. Go on Poshmark, I see that I can sell this for $75. That's the highest, and then the lowest is $40. So I'm like, okay, that's great. I don't really check Mercari at all, but since we're gonna use this exact, you know, item at hand, Lululemon pants, I will price them at about $75 on Poshmark, which is at the highest, depending on the style and the size. So it's so many factors that goes into pricing. But let's just say these are a black pair. They are in excellent condition. There's no flaws, and they are a size 32 by 32, which is like an average size. I'm gonna price them at $75. They retail for $128. So I know at the very least I'm gonna make about $50 for these. So price them on Poshmark for $75. I'll drop that price down to $65 on Mercari, and then when we get to eBay, I'll drop it to $52.99 or $54.99, around there, because I do plan on sending out offers, because I have it in my mind already that $50 is what I'm gonna get for this item. And that is literally the breakdown of my mindset when I price items. I like to price them accordingly to each platform, because I feel like you have different buyers on different platforms. And then you also want to take into consideration that you will have to pivot on some of these items. So let's say the same Lululemon pants, let's say they've declined because they are oversaturated. That means that, let's say it's 10,000 listed and only 2,000 have sold. That means that instead of me being able to get $50 for it, I might need to price mine at $39.99 on eBay just so I can get mine to move, because if everybody have theirs listed over $40, mine at $39.99 is probably going to seal the deal. And then as far as Poshmark goes, I probably drop it down to about $58 just so I can still get close to about $40 to $45 if I receive an offer. And then on Mercari, I'd probably price it like around $48, because 40 would be like that bottom low tier, or roughly $35 to $40 is what I would get if they sent me an offer. So it's like you want to make sure that you are constantly on it when it comes to your price points, because what you pick up November of 2023 may not be as poppin' as an item that you pick up November 2024. So then that means that item is just no longer that girl. So you need to drop the price. So the next one kind of ties into what I was saying previously. This one is cross listing. So I know that a lot of people do not want to cross list, and I completely understand. I'm not even going to fault you for it, but I want you to understand that you could be missing out on so much money. And I understand that you don't want to cross list because it is work. So if you cross list on a platform, that means that if an item sells, you'll have to go make sure that that item is deleted, and you got to stay on top of that if you cross list. However, if you only sell on one platform, you never have to worry about it. I personally have been cross-listing since the beginning of my reselling business, and it's been very helpful. Every time a platform slows down for me, I would open up another one, and then that one will perform really well. And then when that one slows down, I open up another one. And I feel like right now where I'm at, eBay and Poshmark and Mercari is pretty much going to be my main 3 platforms. I went back and forth on letting go Mercari, but I think I'm just going to keep it. And then of course, when you are cross-listing, you are literally giving your item the most eyes, okay? If you cross-list this one particular item on 3 or 4 different platforms, instead of, let's say, 20 people seeing that listing, you have over 100 people seeing that listing. So that means the likelihood of it selling quicker is there, like 100%, it's there. And then something that doesn't sell that great on eBay may sell better on Poshmark. Something that doesn't sell that good on Poshmark or eBay may sell better on Mercari. So you just really want to make sure you are keeping your mind open when it comes to that. And then you want to look at your own inventory and making sure you are on the right platforms for your inventory. So the next one is actually, don't be attached to your items. For me, the attachment to certain items is usually vintage or items that are like, you know, the items that could sell for over, you know, 50 bucks every single time. Those are the ones that I will stand true on being attached to. So if I pick up some Johnny Was and it's in excellent condition, it's silk, it's a large size, it's floral print, it's a maxi dress, all of the factors, I'm going to be attached to it, okay? Because I already know I'm not getting less than $100 for this. But if I pick up these Under Armour golf pants, they're a size 30 by 30, and they've been sitting for 4 months, and somebody offers me $12 on it, I'm gonna accept it. Yes, I would have preferred to get $25 for these, but somebody offering me more than half off on an item that has no attention on no platforms, that is not the best colorway, that is not in season, that is not a great style, yes, let it go, you know? And I feel like when you come across these moments in your business, you really want to just take a break and think about it. Like, okay, I'm receiving a lowball offer. Does this item get any attention on any platforms, or this platform that it's, you know, getting you know, a good old offer on? If it's not, let it go. If you've had it listed for more than 3-4 months and nobody has liked this item, the views on it is not there, nothing is there, let it go. If you got this item and it had a small flaw on it, but you know that it could go for, let's say, $20 and they offer you $12, let it go. Like, you just want to be mindful of these things. Do you really want to store this for, I don't know, 100 more days just to get $5 more? And if the answer is yes, something's wrong with you. The next one is actually be in season. So when you're out there sourcing, yes, you can pick up out of season items all the time. All of the items that I sourced over the summer that were more fall winter items, they sat until they sold now. So these items sat for over 4 or 5 months just to sell while they were in season. So my issue is that I can have an item. So let's say, prime example right now, somebody can send me a 50% off offer on a dress because we are out of season. Now for me, depending on if I got it from the bins, if it's a great item, you know, the size, all the fun things, I will consider accepting that just because it is out of season. And then that means that this item is going to have to sit a whole nother year until we reach the summer season again. So I feel like when you list items according to the season, you'll always turn in a profit every single time. But when you list out of season, that means that you will be sitting on it. Now, I know that it is a lot of resellers, and I did it before too. Like, I would list shorts in the wintertime because our mindset as resellers is the fact that everybody is not in the same climate. And I understand that. I know that they say that Florida people, it doesn't get cold there. Like, it's always hot, which love that for them. But me personally, I don't like to have to sit on items too long. So me listing items in season is the best bet. So let's just do a hypothetical. You have 100 items. 70 of them are in season. So there are jackets, coats, sweaters, long sleeve tops, sweater dresses, all the things. And then you have 30% that is, let's say, summer items. You have shorts, you have tank tops, you have short sleeve t-shirts, you have, I don't know, baseball caps. and you notice that none of them are selling, and the ones that are selling, you've received like lowball offers. You've relisted these items, they get likes, nobody's buying them, and if they do buy them, it's not a lot. Some of them you might get lucky because it might be a great brand that somebody's like, oh yeah, I still need that, I'll just save this until next summer. But most of the time people are waiting for things to be out of season so they can get a good deal. I'm not doing that no more, okay? I'm gonna be selling in season. So if you guys are familiar with my YouTube channel, I actually like to store all of my things that are not in season in a bin, and then as soon as we reach that season close to it, I'll start listing it. Now, of course, I'm gonna list it maybe about a good month or 6 to 8 weeks before I need to actually list it for that season, but I just am more mindful when it comes to that. And those are actually my 7 tips on how you can become a successful reseller. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you guys are interested in content like this, please consider subscribing and go ahead and like this video.